In a forgotten realm where jagged, mist-shrouded peaks dared to pierce the heavens, and ancient rivers carved their way through emerald forests of swaying bamboo, there lived an old ascetic named Lao. His humble, weather-beaten hut clung to the rocky foothills of the sacred mountain. To the rest of the world, Lao was a mystery, a man who had traded the comforts of society for the harsh, unforgiving beauty of the wilderness. People journeyed from distant provinces, crossing treacherous terrains and unforgiving valleys, not to demand answers from the old man, but to seek the right questions. Lao possessed a rare and terrifying gift. He saw the invisible threads of fate that governed human lives. He was a master of the unspoken, known far and wide for his ability to remain perfectly silent when the world demanded noise, and to speak profound truths when the world fell dead and quiet. One crisp, autumn morning, the tranquility of the mountain was shattered by the rhythmic, heavy steps of a wealthy merchant named Wei. Wei did not merely walk, he paraded. He was draped in layers of the finest crimson silk, embroidered with golden dragons that seemed to dance in the sunlight. Heavy jade amulets swung from his neck, and thick golden rings adorned almost every finger. His posture was rigid with pride, his chin tilted upward in an unspoken challenge to the mountain itself. He strutted up the winding path like a peacock entering a garden of sparrows. Wise Lao! Wei boomed, his voice echoing off the ancient stones, shattering the morning stillness as he lowered himself onto a modest woven mat outside the hermit's door. Do not worry, I have not climbed this cursed mountain to beg for your advice. I have come simply to share my boundless joy. I want the world to know that my life is perfect. I am doing exceptionally well. My wife is as beautiful as the spring blossom. My sons are strong, healthy, and unmatched in their studies. My caravans bring me mountains of gold from the west, and my storehouses are bursting with grain and silk. I have conquered the struggles of life. I have achieved ultimate success. Lao did not immediately reply. He sat motionless, his ancient, deep-set eyes studying the merchant with the tragic pity one might reserve for a child playing near a cliff's edge. Be very careful, traveler, Lao finally whispered, his voice like dry leaves scraping against stone. It is profoundly unwise to declare to the universe, I am doing perfectly well. Wei blinked, his triumphant smile faltering. A flash of irritation crossed his face. Why? Is it a crime to rejoice in one's own success? Am I not allowed to celebrate the fruits of my endless labor? The old hermit slowly rose to his feet, leaning heavily on a gnarled wooden staff. Without a word, he turned and began to walk toward the sound of a rushing mountain stream nearby. Overtaken by curiosity and mild offense, the merchant scrambled to his feet and followed. When they reached the water's edge, Lao sat upon a large, moss-covered boulder and stared into the crystalline depths. Imagine, Lao began softly, a delicate bowl crafted from the thinnest, most exquisite porcelain. Imagine it is filled to the very brim with pure, sweet water. As long as you hold this bowl gently, with intense focus and reverence, the water remains still. But the very moment you lift it up to the world and shout, look at how incredibly strong my bowl is. In that exact moment of boasting, your grip instinctively tightens, or your hands shake with pride. And what happens? The porcelain cracks. The water spills. In the moment you loudly declare your invulnerability, destiny hears your challenge. You invite the storm. Wei argued, crossing his arms, asking if a man cannot enjoy the things he has rightfully earned. Lao nodded gently, explaining that one may enjoy them, but must never consider them permanent. The moment you define your state as perfectly secure, you attach your soul to it, and everything in this physical realm to which you are attached will eventually be stripped away. Believing that your happiness is an eternal fortress makes you careless. True joy requires a foundation of silence, deep gratitude, and absolute humility. The ancient wisdom warns us, those who shout the loudest about their great heights are the ones who make the most deafening sound when they fall. Lao gestured for Wei to walk with him along the edge of the stream, recounting the tale of 3 brothers who lived in a valley far to the south. The eldest became a fiercely wealthy rice merchant, the middle a respected scholar, and the youngest remained an impoverished fisherman. At a grand feast, the eldest boasted of his overflowing granaries, and the middle brother bragged of his unmatched wisdom and fame. The youngest, however, quietly stated that he simply woke each morning, thanked the heavens, and accepted whatever the river gave his nets. A year later, a catastrophic flood ruined the eldest brother, and a mysterious plague took the middle brother's students, leaving him alone. The youngest brother, however, lost absolutely nothing, because he had never declared anything to be permanently his. Wei's defensive posture began to melt as Lau seamlessly wove another tale into the morning air, the story of Lin, a master sculptor who crafted a breathtaking clay statue. Blinded by arrogance, Lin refused to fire the clay in a kiln, boasting that his creation was already perfect and eternal. That very night, a monsoon washed the unfired clay away, leaving only formless mud. By boasting of its perfection and refusing the painful fire of the kiln, which is the fire of humility and preparation, he condemned his own joy. To be at peace, Lau explained, placing a weathered hand on the merchant's silk-covered shoulder, does not mean to be in a constant state of ecstatic happiness. It means to be in a state of unshakable balance. The true master of life wakes up and says, "Today is peaceful, and for this, I am deeply grateful. Tomorrow is a terrifying unknown, and I accept it. If loss comes, it is merely a strict teacher." The path of wisdom is not about desperately ensuring that everything is always good. It is about cultivating the internal strength to be ready when everything goes wrong. You must learn to rejoice when it is permitted, remain silent when it is required, and be fiercely resilient when tragedy is unavoidable. Victory favors the prepared, never the boastful. Lau murmured one last tale as the sun began its slow descent, bleeding colors of bruised orange and violent violet across the sky. He spoke of a rich caravan crossing a merciless desert. A young merchant arrogantly shouted into the emptiness, celebrating their flawless luck and taming of the sands, ignoring the warnings of his scarred, one-eyed guide. The very next morning, a monstrous sandstorm descended, the arrogant merchant perished in panic, while the quiet, prepared guide survived by anticipating disaster during the height of tranquility. The merchant sat in profound silence. He was no longer the peacock who had marched up the mountain. His shoulders were relaxed, his breathing slow. The superficial shine of his wealth seemed to have dimmed, replaced by the sharp, intense gaze of a man awakening from a long sleep. "So," Wei finally whispered, his voice trembling slightly. "What am I supposed to say? If I cannot say, 'I am doing well,' what words am I permitted to use?" For the first time that day, a warm, genuine smile broke across Lau's wrinkled face. "Speak softly to the present moment," Lau instructed. "Say, 'Today, I am breathing, and I am profoundly grateful for it.' Say, 'Right now, there is peace in my home, but I understand this is a fleeting gift.' Say, 'The wheel of life is constantly turning, and I am preparing my heart for the changes to come.' You must never assume that tragedy, loss, or change will overlook you. Life is defined by its impermanence." As they walked back to the hermit's hut, the sun vanished below the horizon, and a brilliant canopy of stars pierced the velvet darkness of the night sky. Lau picked up a humble, chipped clay pitcher, poured fresh spring water into a wooden cup, and handed it to his guest. "Drink," Lau commanded gently. "And as you drink, remember this: the water you are swallowing is not yours. The body you inhabit is not yours forever. Everything you hold in your hands is on loan from the universe. Everything you love is profoundly temporary. Everything you fear will eventually pass away. Therefore, banish the phrase, 'My life is perfect,' from your lips. Instead, tell the world, 'I am still walking the path.' The journey is difficult, but this specific day is a beautiful, unearned gift." Wei took the cup with both hands, bowing his head deeply. He drank the cold water in absolute silence. When he handed the cup back, he bowed again, not with the stiff, performative politeness of a merchant, but with the deep, reverent submission of a student. Without speaking another word, Wei turned and began his long descent down the mountain in the dark. He never again uttered words that invited the poison of pride. He became a man of profound quiet, and within that vast, internal silence, he finally discovered the true wealth he had been searching for all his life. True peace requires no audience, for happiness is a fragile, sacred creature that thrives only in the shadowy quiet of a humble heart. The universe is always listening to the words you cast into the void. When you stand on a mountaintop and scream about your perfect life, you paint a vibrant target on your own back, inviting the arrows of fate, envy, and time. But when you lower your head and whisper a quiet thanks to the unseen forces that govern our days, you build an invisible fortress around your joy. True power is never found in possessing the entire world, it is found in developing the spiritual fortitude to lose it all and still remain whole. A tree that loudly proclaims it is the stiffest and strongest in the forest will be snapped in half by the first hurricane, while the willow tree, which bows silently to the earth when the wind blows, survives to see the dawn. Protect the quiet sanctity of your happiness, let your gratitude be a private prayer, and live every single day not as a trophy you have rightfully won, but as a fleeting, miraculous lesson guided by the quiet stars of humility.